Recorded live with little or no editing, it's Roster Roast. Today we're going to be looking over Sifu Shan's defense. Now, this is going to be an example of what you do when you don't have enough defenses to cover and you want to focus on offense, which as a newer player in the game, you definitely want to be focusing on offense first. I recommend that you get something that works in offense and then go with 2 war defense teams and focus on those 2 alone exclusively. And then once you get those 2 teams filled out and you have 8 to 12 offensive teams that you're comfortable with, then start building out the rest of your defensive roster. Now, Sifu Shan is just at the point where he's going to start adding teams, but before he did that, I took some pictures of his roster, his defense, and we're going to take a look at it. Now, we grade on power levels, placement, who you're using, their ISO weights, and what kind of mood I'm in. And I'm feeling pretty peppy today, so I think this should be a good roast. He should get some positive scores. Team number 1, Hydra Red Skull. So, if you have Zemo unlocked, I'm swapping Zemo in for Hydra Sniper on this team just to make it a little bit more of a credible threat. He's got his at 229, which is great. This usually warrants somebody bringing in a brother or a Inhumans team. Sorry, Black Bolt and Inhumans team to beat. But I mean, for this to really be a threat, you need them to be at least 300. But at 200 is good enough that you're soaking up that Inhumans offense. I do like the Zemo in there. It makes them a little bit more of a threat. It causes some problems. It makes people stop and think about it. But this is a pretty good setup. I would like to see with this setup, I want to see Sniper being replaced with, who's that? Trooper. Yeah, swap Scientist and Trooper in the middle there swap Sniper and Trooper because Sniper has a stealth mechanic and he's going to keep people from chaining the other direction. You can also swap Red Skull and Hydra Guard, but you don't really have to. Let's see, the ISOs. These are decent enough ISOs. On this team, it really doesn't matter. I've seen people do full Fortifier across the board, or full Healer across the board. This is such a cheeseball defense in the way that it works that you can't really go wrong with ISOs. I just think that Trooper should be Raider. It's one of the better things, but in fact, I like the way this is set up for maximization right here. So it's a decent placement. It could be better. Good ISOs. Power levels are good enough. And I like who he's using, although there is room for improvement. This is a solid B score right here. Next up is the hybrid of Loki Hela with the Mercs. Now, the 3 people that he's got here, the 3 Mercs that he's using are in the right placement, but I would like to see Hela on the other end. So it would go Hela, Taskmaster, Merc Lieutenant, Merc Riot Guard, and then Loki. Or you could flip-flop Hela and Loki on the ends there, whatever. But just keep Hela and Loki separate from each other because they really work as a pair and you don't want them being taken out easy. But the way that he's got his trio of Mercs is really good. And then he went heavy on the healers. I don't know why he's got healer on Taskmaster. There's 3 better ISOs than that. You should probably do Skirmisher on him even when you're running this lineup. I've been testing him a lot and I just like that ISO. He gets so much more damage out when he's doing extra stuff. So I like the ISO combo of Skirmisher Striker with the Mercs in general, no matter what comp you're running. But alternatively, you could do him as a Raider. That really helps too. Yeah, exactly, Crofty. Healer on Taskmaster's a no-go. Otherwise, the rest of them are okay. On Hela, you can do the Striker Skirmisher combo, especially when you're running the 5 Asgards because Loki puts the taunt out there. Now, on War Defense, I think Taskmaster places a taunt. I don't know if he goes before or after Hela. If he goes before Hela or even before Loki, which I hope he does, then everybody's hitting the same person and you'd want that Skirmisher Striker combo on Hela also. So fix the ISOs, fix the placement, bring up the power levels of your Mercs for sure. You're looking at a C. All right. Next up is the Avengers Wave 1 with Thor as the set piece. I'm thinking this looks pretty good. Yep, Captain America followed by Hulk, both with healer, that's correct. Raider on Thor, that's good. Although you could take advantage of the glitch right now and put Stryker on him and make everybody else's match crash. I mean, if you're running him in defense, Why not do that? Then they crash and they don't win the match, and everybody can get pissed off at Scopely. Maybe Scopely will fix that bug. I don't know. You could also swap places with Thor and Black Widow and use her stealth ability, but I kind of actually like putting Thor closer to Hulk because he can kind of soak up some damage. He's actually pretty tough. But as long as you got Hawkeye out on the end, that's good. And you've got Skirmisher Striker on the 2. That works out well. So I like the power levels. I like the placement. I like the ISOs. I like the team. I think that's an A. All right, next up is Coulson Fury Shield team. Now today we were testing putting the Dad Bros in on this team, and that makes for a really awesome team, except when you use the Brotherhood 2.0 on them, they just get walked over just like this team does. There's no cure to the Brotherhood. There's just no cure for it right now. Brotherhood crushes this team no matter what you do. So your best bet is to bring this team's power levels up high enough that people are using the Brotherhood on this team and not somewhere else. And that's all you can do. That's what you count as a win these days, is when they get killed by the Brotherhood. So, as for placement, you can swap Fury and Medic, but you don't have to. That's good. Otherwise, yeah, I like this setup. You could swap Coulson and Assaulter too, but you don't have to. You've got Healer on these two, which is good, and Raider on everybody else, which makes this team crit 100% of the time, and they do some cool features when they start critting. So I like your placement, I like your ISOs, I just don't like your power levels, bring them up. This is a B-. This is what you do when you don't have enough teams to fill slots. You put in garbage like the hand team. It's better than a 17k shield guard team. It's forcing them to bring in something, but it doesn't really matter what, because they can bring in 100 power level pack of garbage and beat this team, because hand sucks. But you're not going to be using the hand on offense, so you can throw them in here, and at least they have to stop and go through their roster and pick out something. Probably come in with, I don't know, defenders or something like that, and just wipe this team out. So really, it doesn't matter what your power level is, what your ISO level is, what your placement is on this team. This is just an absolute filler team. It's every bit as good as this team. I'm going to call it a D, not an F, because it technically is better than shield guards. Now, here are the last 3 remaining teams, and guess what? They're all shield guards. And that's because he doesn't have enough defensive teams. He's utilizing them on offense for maximum capabilities. Now, what I would like to see actually, though, is I'd like to see the different arrangement of these teams in a different order. So I would like to move the hand team over here to number 3 and take this Wave 1 Avenger team, which is actually got a little bit of decency to it, and move them all the way back to team number 8 and hide them in the back. That just causes confusion. That's the best thing you can do. It's not like a win for the Alliance or anything, but it'll cause some confusion. It might allow somebody to use a team or a comp that might have helped against this. They might end up using it earlier thinking, oh, hey, look, it's all shield guards from here on. So they start throwing away stuff. It's an opportunity, and that's the best you can do. Anyway, this is a really good example of somebody who's not focusing on defense and still doing a good job on defense. So even though you're getting mid to low scores on most of these teams, and you don't even have a full defensive roster, I know that Sifu Shan's putting in some work on offense, and that's where it's needed the most. So anyway, this has been Sifu Shan's Defensive Roast. If you like what you saw, please leave comments, likes. There's going to be descriptions down below, and you can catch me here on Twitch every Monday morning from 9 to noon Pacific time. And if you want your roster roasted, then please message me on Discord, run74041. And remember, guys, don't just have a good game, be good to each other too. Thanks. Bye.